You felt it. That exact moment when your phone lights up in the dark. You see the name. And instead of curiosity, instead of that hit of dopamine we're told to expect from social connection, you feel a physical weight, a tightening in the chest, a momentary flicker of guilt. But right behind the guilt, exhaustion. You don't reach for it, you don't slide to unlock, you simply flip the phone over, face down. In that moment, you aren't just silencing a device, you are silencing a demand. Society tells us this is a loneliness epidemic. The United States Surgeon General recently declared that 1 in 4 adults feels completely isolated. We are told that cutting people off is a symptom of a fractured world, a sign that we are becoming cold, detached, or broken. But inside that silence, something else is happening. You don't feel lonely, you feel relief. And that confuses people. From the outside, it looks like you're shutting down. It looks like a retreat. But psychologically, it's not a retreat at all. It's a recovery. Today, we're looking at the hidden architecture of why we walk away. We're going to explore the biology of the switch, the childhood blueprints of emotional distance, and why your brain might finally be doing exactly what it was designed to do, protecting the only thing you have left, your peace. To understand why you stopped picking up the phone, we have to look at the hard drive of your body, the nervous system. For a long time, you were likely the emotional shock absorber. You were the one who answered at 2 a.m., the one who kept the peace during family dinners, the one who listened, processed, and carried the chaos of everyone around you. You didn't just show up for people, you stayed until it cost you. But the human nervous system isn't an infinite well, it is a finite resource. Dr. Stephen Porges, a leading researcher in behavioral epigenetics, developed what is known as Polyvagal Theory. He explains that our system has 3 primary modes. Social engagement, where we feel safe, connected, and open. Fight or flight, where we feel anxious, reactive, and pressured. The dorsal vagal state, shut down. When you have been the absorber for too long, when people have taken more than they have given, your brain doesn't ask for permission to change modes. It simply flips a switch. Researchers call this the protective shift. Your brain stops trying to fix social situations because it has realized that the cost of connection has exceeded the benefit of safety. When you flip that phone over, it's not an act of aggression. It's your dorsal vagal system stepping in to conserve energy. You aren't becoming cold. You are adapting to a deficit. You are moving into a state of biological conservation. This isn't a flaw in your character, it's a feature of your survival. But why is the switch so much easier to flip for some than for others? Why does walking away feel like a superpower for some and a tragedy for others? For many of us, this pattern wasn't learned in adulthood. It was grafted in our earliest years. Psychologist Murray Bowen introduced the concept of emotional cutoff. It describes a phenomenon where individuals who grew up in high-intensity, unpredictable, or enmeshed environments learn a specific survival skill. Distance equals safety. If you grew up reading the room before you could even read books, if you learned to scan your parents' faces the moment they walked through the door to gauge the weather of the house, you developed a highly specialized form of intelligence. You became a master of atmospheric awareness. You learned that someone else's mood could shift the entire world, and so you learned to adjust yourself. You became the peacemaker, the quiet one, the one who didn't cause trouble. But as an adult, that superpower has a dark side. Because you can sense tension before it's spoken, your brain is constantly on. You are processing a million microsignals that other people don't even notice. A 2023 study published in Nature Neuroscience confirmed this. They found that individuals exposed to early emotional stress develop heightened activity in the brain's threat detection systems, specifically the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex. In simple terms, your brain got too good at reading people. You aren't too sensitive, you are highly accurate. When your internal signal says, "This person will drain me," it isn't a guess, it's a calculation based on thousands of hours of data. You've reached a point where you've stopped ignoring the data. There is a popular narrative that isolation is a death sentence, and the data does support the danger of unintentional loneliness. The Centers for Disease Control, CDC, reports that prolonged, involuntary social isolation can increase the risk of heart disease by nearly 30% and stroke by 32%. We are social creatures. We are wired for the tribe. But here is the nuance that the headlines miss. Being surrounded by the wrong people is its own form of isolation. There is a psychological state known as relational poverty. It's the feeling of being in a room full of people who see you as a function, but not as a person. The friend who only calls when their life is falling apart. The partner who takes your peace but never contributes to it. When you cut these people off, the CDC statistics don't apply in the same way. Because you aren't losing a connection, you are losing a stressor. Harvard's famous 75-year study of adult development, the longest study on happiness ever conducted, found a simple truth. The quality of your relationships matters more than the quantity. If your world has gotten quieter, it's often because you've stopped accepting noise as a substitute for music. So how do you know if you are healing or just hiding? There is a vital distinction between a wall and a boundary. Walls are built from fear. They are indiscriminate. They block out the good, the bad, and the uncertain. They are designed to keep you from being hurt again. When you live behind a wall, you aren't just safe, you're trapped. Boundaries, however, are built from awareness. They are selective. A boundary is a filter, not a barricade. It says, you can come in, but only if you respect the space. If you cut someone off and you feel a lingering, painful emptiness, that might be a wall. But if you cut someone off and you feel an immediate, deep, full-body exhale, that is a boundary. That relief is the sound of your nervous system finally standing down from a decade-long guard duty. You haven't become unreachable, you've become intentional. Society has a habit of pathologizing solitude. We call it antisocial or withdrawn. But there is a beautiful word that we've forgotten: sanctuary. Loneliness is the absence of connection you want. Solitude is the presence of the peace you chose. You aren't sitting in an empty house wishing someone would call. You are sitting in your own space, finally able to hear your own thoughts. For the first time in a long time, you aren't negotiating your emotions to fit someone else's needs. You aren't losing people, you're losing patterns. You're losing the pattern of overextending. You're losing the pattern of absorbing chaos. You're losing the pattern of being a version of yourself that everyone else finds convenient. If your circle is getting smaller, don't look at it as a loss. Look at it as a refinement. Like a sculptor chipping away the excess stone to find the statue inside, you are chipping away the noise to find yourself. If you're watching this and you've been feeling guilty for your silence, let this be your permission to stop. You aren't cold, you aren't heartless, you are a person who learned the hard way that your energy is a finite resource. And deciding who gets access to that resource isn't mean, it's the most honest thing you can do. Because the goal of life isn't to be known by everyone, it's to be known deeply by the right ones, starting with yourself. If this resonated with you, if you felt that switch flip in your own life, I want to hear your story. Have you found peace in the silence? Leave a comment below. I read every single one. Protect your peace, stay clear, stay you.